Hello and welcome back to Courageously Living. I am Tara, and this is a special video about kind of all the astrology that is happening this month and kind of pulling some tarot cards to kind of get different vibes of energy. I am not an astrologer, but I have studied it for several years. And I also think that it really does blend well with doing other spiritual tools or just trying to figure out kind of stuff in your own personal life. So that is really how I kind of look at the astrology pieces. I am not one of those people that kind of buy into the, oh, this is awful and everything is going to end. I buy more into the, oh my gosh, how cool is this? Yes, we're going to see some disruption. Yes, it can be awful, but the sheer rarity of the time period that we're in is kind of fascinating to me. So that's really how I look at things. So if you're looking for doom and gloom, I'm not your gal. There's a lot of other people that are way happier to participate in the doom and gloom for the astrology stuff. And for the tarot too. And again, I'm using kind of what we're dealing with right now to kind of, and then grab some cards to kind of give you a little bit better idea of what's coming in. I just recorded the Daily Dose of Comfort, which I pull a card, and I also talk about the moon, which obviously today is the full moon. It's a lunar eclipse. The moon's in Libra. So there's a lot going on right there, which I tried to, again, keep it pretty high level, and I'm still going to keep this high level, but expand more into the astrology parts of it for this elliptical eclipse season. There we go. I can get the words out. But so this is the card that I pulled for the Daily Dose of Comfort. And I wanted to start with this card because it has so much rich meaning for where we are right now. So it is the Hangman, and this deck then tells us what the planet is, or the astrological sign that is related to it. And it is Neptune, which I found incredibly fascinating. So let's kind of break this down. So for today, with it being the Hangman is about pausing, looking at things from a different perspective. Sometimes emotions are coming up with the Hangman of like, I don't know which way to go. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. This is not one of those days you want to make a lot of decisions if you can avoid it. That said, the whole period of the ellipses so we have this one on the lunar eclipse on the 14th to the solar eclipse on the 29th of this month. If you can avoid making huge life-changing decisions, it's a good time just in general to do that. Then this year, we have so many other factors in play that I think we're going to end up seeing some life decisions playing out collectively and globally that are going to be very, very indicative of this time not going back. And again, not that it's going to be all rainbows and excitement. There's going to be strife. There's going to be some, chaotic things. Once we get through that, though, it's going to give us an ability to see things differently and to look at creating and spirituality in different ways. And now, so that's that part of it, and that's kind of just general. But there's so many things that are making this period even more interesting. So in addition to just the lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse, we are also at the 29th degree, which is the last degree, that Neptune in Pisces. And Neptune rules Pisces. It is all about water, emotions, creativity, spirituality. So when things are at the last degree, it is trying to do as much as it can before it moves houses. And Pisces, it's Neptune's at home in. It loves the confusion. It loves the water. It loves the emotion. And it's moving into fire, Aries, passion sign. And that's going to be different energy. Neptune is also about our unconscious emotions, our emotions that we've buried, or things that we've buried. And when it moves into Aries at the end of the month on the 30th, you're going to be ready to take action on those emotions that have been stirred up. And that isn't to say that there isn't action being had right now. There is. It's going to just intensify, is how I feel that it's going to kind of play out for us. And you can just see that right now. We're in really a kind of pressure cooker worldwide. And then Aries restarts a new cycle for the zodiac's signs. So it's basically like a new year for the zodiac. It's when we move into the Aries season. And when Aries season is, it's like around like the 21st, 22nd of this month. So that's all still happening. Then that itself is a huge deal. We have not had Neptune move into Aries for 100 some years. I don't know the exact off the top of my head. Again, I'm not an astrologer. But this truly is a once in a lifetime event that we are having Neptune move from Pisces into Aries. And in addition to all of that, we're still not even done, is we have Venus retrograding right now. And Venus is about love, money, enoughness, values, what we value. And when planets are retrograde, it is making us look within and reevaluating our values, reevaluating how we think of enoughness, self-compassion, self-love. And then we are on top of that, tomorrow, the 15th, Mercury moves retrograde, or stations retrograde rather. And it is showing us our communication and how are we communicating with ourselves and how are we communicating with others. And Mercury retrograde can bring technology issues. And Mercury retrograde happens 3 times a year, so that's pretty normal. It's just not as a normal occurrence with all these other things happening at this time for it. And I personally have really made my peace, and I love Mercury retrograde because I know I'm going to be redoing things. I know I'm going to be re-looking at things, and it's going to make it stronger and better. So that's how I'm looking at this Venus retrograde part and the Mercury retrograde part, is it's going to make us stronger individually and stronger as a humanity. Again, it might be harsh and awful going through it, but we are in retrograde periods. They end, the lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse energy does end. It doesn't stick around forever. Once Neptune moves into Aries, it's gonna stay there until the fall, and then it'll briefly come back into Pisces just to kind of finish it off, and then finally move in 2026. So let's I want to pull a card. We already have this card for the lunar eclipse right now that I pulled from our dailies. But let's, with all this change, let's pull one card for these next 2 weeks, just the energy of it. Again, trying to still be your respite spot. I know that there's a lot going on in the world. I'm not getting into any of the specifics for you so that you can watch this channel and not get stirred up by actual news or political events. But it is going to be a really intense time for us. At least these next 2 weeks. Neptune changing into Aries falls right outside of the official 2-week time frame, but it's still there, you guys. Like, it's still gonna be a lot moving. And some of the other readers or astrologers have also talked about the Kali Yuga, I probably am pronouncing that wrong, cycle also ending at the end of this month. And that was for basically kind of lower conscious, the bottom of the lower consciousness of planet Earth. And that was also a huge cycle. Again, once in a lifetime cycle that is actually changing and starting to swing up to a more higher conscious, higher being, more love, more compassion. I don't know that much about it, but I will at least get the right name for you so you can go down that rabbit hole if you would like. But what is the energy overall for, let's say, between the 14th and we'll go through the 31st, the 14th through the 31st, because we know that it's going to be really intense. But what card is helping us here? What card is going to help us here besides Neptune and the Hangman? So we have the Death card, which is the card that I also pulled for earlier this week for our dailies. It does not surprise me that this card has come up again at all. And it is ruled by Scorpio. We are at an end of a cycle, multiple cycles, multiple endings are going to happen. But what I want you to remember, now this is where I'm going into the positive piece here. Death, you can't have rebirth without death. There is as far back as we can go, there is cycles of time. There is cycles of humanity. There is cycles of change in your personal life, transitions, transformations. think of, I know this just comes up as a giant gold blob, but it's the phoenix rising. The phoenix bursts into flames and then is reborn from the ashes, which tells me there's going to be so many things that have ended and changed from the 14th through the end of the month. And I'm recording this on the 11th. So there's probably other things that have already changed that I don't even know about yet because I'm recording it on the 11th. It's not a time to fall into despair. Even when things look bad, even when things are bad, when there is, so much less than beautiful love and compassion in the world. We'll keep it like that. I've got Luna, the polar bear, lit with her candle back there to really take in that energy of everybody who's going through crisis, because there is a lot of crisis. I don't mean to downplay that at all. And I'm also making sure that if you're watching this, you are connecting to the cycle of death, rebirth, hope, renewal. Even in crisis, and there is probably a lot of crisis going on right now collectively, and there's also could be crisis going on in your own life. They're cycles. They don't last forever. I know when you're in a crisis cycle, it can be really, really, really hard to see an ending of it. And there is always going to be an ending to a new beginning, to something that we can look forward to, something that we can rebuild. Now, this might be one of the biggest things we have ever had to rebuild. Oh, there is a pup sighting. And by sticking together, by being in community, by knowing that love, compassion, unity, peace is actually what a lot of people on planet Earth want right now. Gaia, planet Earth, wants peace and compassion and love and joy and happiness. That's how we thrive. And we are so skewed and so out of balance that whatever is happening right now in our death process, it is forcing us to clear out the stuff that isn't working, to clear out the stuff that isn't coming from a place of love or compassion or humanity. Now, I'm not saying that on April 1st, we're going to be completely fine. Not at all. But I'm saying we're in the cycle. We're in the crisis cycle. We're in the death cycle. And it's okay to cry. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to move through those emotions of disappointment, of rage, of hurt. Because that is how we're going to get to the other side. Not by bottling them up and saying, I'm not seeing this. I'm not seeing this. That doesn't mean you don't, limit your news consumption. But it's a cycle. It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough for the entire planet. And we are doing amazing things. And I send you so much love, so much support, so much healing, and even a little bit of hope and joy, even if you can't connect to it right now. I'm still sending it because I believe 100% that once we get through this period of time, and even if it, however long this period lasts, we are going to be much more loving, much more compassionate, have much more kindness. And that's what I'm here for, and that's why I keep showing up for you. Because I want you to be able to find that in your life. I want you to connect to that love, that compassion, that kindness, that love, that joy. That's what we're here to experience this lifetime as much as we can. And for these moments of chaos, I send you strength, love, courage, and compassion, and a whole lot of grace and healing. Sending you so much love. Make sure you give yourself a self-hug. And I will see you on the next video. Bye for now. Hey, if you're still here with me, one more thing is I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that I did open my calendar up more for personal sessions, 15 minutes to 90 minutes, to really help you focus on how you can get through this time. Even if you're into April, whatever, definitely there is things that you could be focusing on to help you get through this time. And if you book your session between now and the end of the month, you get $35 off any session with me. I did forget to mention that, so that's why I hopped back on here after I said goodbye, but now it's officially goodbye. I'll catch you on the next video.